Valve dangles Steam Deck internals in front of users, says no touchy. This was prepared by Anthony Young. Sort of. It's a little complicated. Yeah. So, Luke, did you watch Valve's video?
Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts?
I had the same thought you had partway through watching through the actual just video before I watched you guys watch the video.
You watched both.
I did.
So you watched an actual video, then you watched someone else react to the video.
I didn't know you guys were going to react to it.
How does it feel to be Gen Z all of a sudden? Just
Well, I watched you guys react to it because I was looking for a float plane showed out.
Yes.
So I watched it at like 1.5 speed or something.
Right, okay.
But anyways, I watched the original video, and it was good. I'm very happy they made it. The other option was, oh no, there's two other options as you kind of talked about. So I'm happy they made it. They picked like the middle option. Not making it would have been worse.
Yeah.
But I think they should have worked with you guys.
Yeah.
And like for a lot of the same reasons. Like I'm watching it, we had the same we're going to unplug the battery and then the battery's randomly plugged back in. We're going to show like the thumbsticks out and then the thumbsticks are going to be back in randomly. It's just like, like the cutting was a little weird. But again, I really don't want to hammer on them too much for it because at least they made it at all.
Now, here's something, though. I ended up getting called out in the comments under that video. I think I had a couple of people tweet at me saying, Linus, you didn't even understand, okay? It was, like, satirical. It's like the Portal sense of humor. And I'm sitting here going, no, it's not.
No, I don't think so. And again, it wasn't a horrible video.
No.
It just could have been better.
Yeah. And like to be clear, they did obviously have a sense of humor about it. This is funny.
Yeah.
We actually missed this in our reaction video because we thought it was over. But at the very end of the video, they say something along the lines of, and if you've been following all of these instructions, you won't have done any of that stuff. And then they close out the video. So absolutely they had a sense of humor about it. But I guarantee you that it was not intentional for them to be working on the machine with the battery plugged in.
Yeah.
After they specifically said, unplug the battery in order to work on the machine, because that is actually very important.
It seemed like they shot everything.
Yeah.
And then voice overed it, and it really didn't line up all that well.
Yes.
So they had to like cut it kind of oddly.
Yes.
I thought the presenter was like actually pretty good. But anyways, it was an exciting video. The him specifically calling out and I heard it as well. He only really specified, I think it was the thumbsticks.
Yeah.
But any amount of like replaceable parts is going to be really cool, and especially the thumbsticks.
Yeah.
Because like, and I believe Anthony called this out, but thumbsticks on things like the Switch, like, oh my.
I mean, another thing I got called out for was sort of pretending that joystick drift is somehow a Nintendo exclusive image.
Oh, no.
Issue. That's the word I was looking for.
Right.
And no, it's certainly a very famous one. It's certainly been a huge problem in very recent memory. But to be clear, joystick drift is an enormous problem no matter what kind of joysticks. And someone in the comments put it really well. They're like, no. Joystick drift, joystick failure is a problem for joysticks.
Yeah.
Every joystick will fail, and it's kind of inherent to the design. You know what finally failed is my old Thrustmaster Top Gun.
Oh, no way.
It wasn't working the last time I tried to use it, and I opened it up. And I was like, okay, so these are just potentiometers. Is this something that I can... A few short Google searches later. Nope, PNG. If I really want another one of these, eBay is the way. I will just buy another one.
To get back to the joystick drift, I think the reason why I kind of jumped to Nintendo right away is one, I think the Switch controllers probably get abused a lot more than other controllers.
Yeah, that's fair. Just slipped into a backpack.
Shoved in bags and stuff like that. Yep. And also Switch controllers are really expensive. So
yes.
I think you got a little bit of a combination. I'm not trying to like hammer on Nintendo specifically, but
I mean, we can hammer on Nintendo for their controllers being way too expensive for what
expensive. They are.
It's
really
ridiculous.
Expensive. Yeah. So that's why that like immediately came to mind. Is if there was a more easily user fixable Joy-Con thing, that would be great. That would be really, really cool.
Elimination Twitch TV says no. MechWarrior 2 was definitely AAA back in the day. Everyone played it back then. Yeah, that's fair. So, other than that, I mean, is there anything else to really say other than good guy Valve? What do you think that they could do better? if anything?
I'd like to know, and like maybe this can come down the line, but I'd like to know the full list of like replaceable hardware that they're going to be offering. You guys mentioned probably not the PCBs, whatever. I don't know, but I would like to know specifically what the offer actually is.
Sure.
I think that would be cool. And that's going to happen because eventually they'll have to make them available somewhere, and then that's your list. But yeah, no, I think it's good. Something I said to you after I had watched that video was that I'm really stoked that like from between the framework and now this, and there's a topic we're going to be talking about later on in the show that has to do with Microsoft, which is really exciting. There's a lot of brands that are making repairability a selling point. I'm completely okay with that. Right to repair and repairability are things that I am very happy to be sold to me, to be completely honest.
Now, here's my challenge for Valve. I think they've done a really great job with the Steam Deck, so I don't really have anything to add to that. I think committing to replaceable components and designing it from the ground up to be more easily repairable is great. A+. Now take that philosophy and apply it to your other bloody products. I had an issue with an Index controller a little while ago, where what happened was definitely not my fault, couldn't have been me, but one of the joysticks, like the topper of it, the actual joystick itself, was no longer attached to the controller.
Did you hit something?
I mean, with the cut...
during Beat Saber?
Luke, I'm trying to tell a story here.
Okay, keep going.
I don't remember. I didn't notice doing it. I don't remember doing it. But because I never, ever used them, it could have been missing for weeks. And I wouldn't have even noticed, right? Because what would I use a joystick for? All I do is waggle my arms around like this, right? And so everything is a pointing interface. I literally don't touch the joysticks ever. Anyway, the point is I contacted Valve support. I was like, hey, look, I just want a new joystick. The ribbon cable is still intact and the sensor is still there. I'll buy it. I recognize that this was 99% my fault. Sure. I own that, but I would like to, how do I get replacement parts for it? And they're like, we will send you an entirely new controller. So obviously as a customer, I'm perfectly happy with that solution because it means that I get a new controller and I can start playing Beat Saber again. But I also have to wonder, okay, what happens to that controller? And it's not just replaceable parts that will wear or could fall off, that could be broken like a joystick. It's also batteries, right? Like every device with a lithium battery in it is going to be e-waste in 10 years.
Yeah.
It is that simple. It will. And that's one of the reasons that people ride on Microsoft about using AA batteries in their controllers. But that is, in my humble opinion, that is Microsoft having the bravery to, in spite of public opinion, do the right thing. Because if you care about the environment at all, you should be getting AA rechargeable batteries and using them for years and years and years instead of putting disposable batteries in it. Because I see that argument made like, oh, Microsoft is being so irresponsible because disposable batteries, landfills, Xbox controllers.
Just stop buying the ones that you can't recharge.
The really shocking part to me is how inexpensive rechargeable batteries are now. Why is anyone ever buying a disposable AA battery in the year 2021?
Yeah.
I think that Microsoft has done the right thing to continue with AA batteries, and I think that they should never take flack for releasing a device. This is my hot take. Nobody should ever get pushback for releasing a device that uses standard, easily replaceable batteries.
That have rechargeable options, which they basically all do. I mean, you can even get decent rechargeable 9 volts now. So that's what we use we have a microphone that's has a wireless receiver that uses 9 volts. And so we have rechargeable 9 volts now. It just blows me away. It blows me away that anyone, like I have Xbox 360. Luke, you were over the other day and he's like, oh,
This is nice.
It was nice.
Yeah, because I have Xbox 360 controllers that are still in service and still get exactly the same battery life that they did 12 years ago because I put new batteries in them. It's not rocket science.
It's great.
Or what we were talking about anymore.
Something to do with
right,
the Valve Deck.
The index controller. And I don't even know that the right answer with the index controller is to put AA batteries in it. It would probably be too heavy. With that said, I mean, Oculus managed it. But the index controller also has a lot more functionality than the Oculus controllers do. Yeah, so maybe that's not the right answer, but having it be easily accessible with a little screw panel so that you could at least not throw away the entire controller would help.
Because you can, I know, like my brother and some other people that I know have had wireless headphones, and they replace those lithium-ion batteries anyways. Mm-hmm. Sometimes with ones that are even bigger and stuff, which is kind of nice. But,
all right. Yeah. So Anthony has a few notes in here about the SSD. Valve claims it shouldn't be upgraded. It has an EMI shield on it that is right next to the Wi-Fi module or the Wi-Fi antennas. Would you buy a third-party backing that allows you to put a larger SSD in it? Would that just be like instant? Have you pre-ordered one? Yeah. Actually, you have. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then
I pre-ordered one the day we talked about it on WAN Show.
As a future,
I actually pre-ordered it in the background while we were still on WAN Show because I wanted to not get too late in the queue.
All right, I'll allow it. So then, okay, if someone makes something like that available, do you plan to buy it?
Not immediately, because I would self-analyze my use case to see if I actually really needed
8 terabyte Steam Deck. Anyone?
But like, my games drive on my computer isn't even that full.
I guess that's fair. You're mostly like a play a game and then move on kind of player, aren't you? Yeah, I guess that's fair.
For most things, the things that I tend to go back to are usually like indie games that are tiny.
Gondomar says, WTF, Luke bought something. It must be really good. Holy shiz.
I'm pretty excited for the Steam Deck. I think it's going to be really cool.